Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
This is the heartwarming moment. A young girl in need of a lung transplant after beating cancer finds out she has been gifted tickets to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour on its 100th show. Florence Ava Bark, from Corby, Northamptonshire, is currently battling graft-versus-host disease, GVHD, of the lungs. She got the disease after receiving a bone marrow transplant in August 2022, following her diagnosis of acute myeloid leukemia, AML. Florence has always loved music and dancing, but because of her illness, she was never able to experience them. Days before Taylor Swift's final show in Liverpool, Sean Reddington, CEO of Thrive, was giving away 2 VIP tickets for someone who truly deserves them. A fan of Florence's social media got in contact with Sean and nominated her for the tickets, and after hearing her story, he decided to gift them to the family. Sat in their living room, her mother Stacey Bark said, "Someone very kind was giving away 2 special tickets to go to a special event and a lovely girl called Olivia nominated you." She then asks Florence which superstar they were speaking about the other day, to which the young girl says with a huge smile on her face, "You were talking about Taylor Swift. Are we going to a Taylor Swift concert?" After being told that they were attending the sold-out event, Florence giggled and said, "I love music, I've never been to a concert before, thank you." Florence then began crying before the clip cut to her enjoying the concert, singing along and waving her stuffed dog to the music. Stacey, 34, said, "They were so great." Sean said there were quite a few tears in the office hearing Florence's story. They even made extra special arrangements for Florence as the tickets weren't originally wheelchair accessible, but they called the stadium and made sure they were able to look after her. Sean's PA rang me at 4 p.m. on Friday during the school run, a day before the show, to confirm it had been sorted. That's when I rushed home to tell Florence. Stacey, her husband Andrew, 36, and their oldest child Freddie, 10, all made the trip to Liverpool. Stacey attended the concert with Florence, and despite concerns about how she would fare, Florence absolutely loved it. Stacey, who is now her daughter's full-time carer along with her husband, said, "Florence has spent the majority of the last 2.5 years in hospital. Leukemia is cancer of the white blood cells, and acute leukemia means it progresses quickly and aggressively, and usually requires immediate treatment. AML is a rare type of cancer, with around 3,100 people diagnosed with it each year in the UK, and it is most common in people over the age of 75. The symptoms of AML usually develop over a few weeks and become worse over time. These can include." Source, NHS. Even before she got sick, the year she was meant to start school, the pandemic started, so she had never been in a crowd that big before. To see her have this experience meant everything, and the staff were just so wonderful, kind and attentive. Florence called it a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Florence first fell ill in late April 2022 and was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia in May. Stacey said, "She was diagnosed within 24 hours of her blood test coming back." Florence started chemo the next day because she was diagnosed as a high-risk patient. It quickly became apparent that the chemotherapy was not working, and Florence's parents were told she needed a bone marrow transplant. Just over a month later, on June 17, we were told she would need a bone marrow transplant, Stacey added. "We were told there was a high chance of the transplant not working before the surgery, but we didn't have any other real option at the time." She had the transplant on August 18, 2022, after which there was still some cancer remaining. The bigger issue then became her immune system, which had to be suppressed so the transplant would be accepted into the body. Florence was declared cancer-free in October 2022, but a month later was diagnosed with graft-versus-host disorder, GVHD, of the lungs. GVHD occurs when transplanted donor cells recognize the recipient's tissues as foreign and attack them. Stacey said, "Her lungs work at 30% capacity on a good day, but she now needs a lung transplant. She gets a lot of infections in her lungs which have to be cleared out ahead.